afternoon, folks. You are now tuned in to where we bring you the hottest and latest news on the issues of the world. I am your anchor, Azalea the Gapan, and this is The Voice of Truth. Headlines: Roles and functions of the United Nations Organization revealed. Global governance facing its challenges in the 21st century. What is the relationship between the state, UNO, and globalization? Stay tuned to find out more about these issues. The roles and functions of the United Nations Organization are laid down to understand more about this organization. For further information, here is Henry Ferrales for the report.
Thank you, our dear anchor. I'm Henry Ferrales, reporting live from my room. So, the United Nations Organization, or UNO, is an organization founded in 1945 with the central purpose of preventing the scourge of war through a commitment to collective security and human rights. This aim reflects the experience in two world wars of the state that established the UN. The following roles and functions of UNO are to maintain international peace and security in accordance with the principles and purposes of the United Nations, to investigate any dispute or situation which might lead to international friction, to recommend methods of adjusting such disputes or the terms of settlement, to formulate plans for the establishment of a system to regulate armaments, to determine the existence of a threat to the peace or act of aggression, and to recommend what action should be taken, to take military action against an aggressor, to recommend the admission of new members, to maintain international peace and security, to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, and to take other appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace and to be a center of harmonizing the actions of nations in the attainment of these common ends. The United Nations Organization was formed to serve as a center incorporating world peace and security for nations. Currently, 193 member states are a part of the UNO. And this is Henry Ferrales reporting in.
Global governance in the 21st century are now facing its challenges, be it environmentally, socially, economically, or in security. To find out more about this, let us hear from Alpha Sanoy.
With the intensification of globalization dynamics, risks to the stability of the international system have grown to the extent that formerly localized threats are no longer locally containable. In the scientific community, the major areas of urgent concern have been climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. To take just a few examples, global carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuels have grown at an average annual rate of 2% since 1990 and hit record levels in 2018, reflecting the continued growth of the global economy and a sharp rise in energy consumption in China, accompanied by the weakening of natural carbon sinks such as forests and seas. While economic growth and technological innovation have led to a massive increase in global wealth, this has resulted in serious degradation of the planet's natural resources, now accelerated by the climate change, and is leading to emerging supply constraints. It is estimated, for instance, that by 2025, the number of people living in regions with absolute water scarcity will risen to some 1.8 billion. Climate change, soil erosion, and overfishing are expected to reduce food production and are likely to put upward pressure on food prices in coming years. There are also a number of inner social boundaries below which no just and equitable society with adequate wealth and resources should descend, with poverty as the most central issue. The failure of the present economic system to distribute its increasing wealth more equitably has led to growing inequality and the consequent social instability. Beyond the inevitable pressure on resources, rapid population growth in the poorest parts of the world in the next several decades will lead to growing imbalances and a broad range of challenges for governments, businesses, and civil society. In sharp contrast to poor regions with rapid population growth, the populations of countries such as Italy, Japan, Russia, and others in the industrial world will continue to shrink. Furthermore, in this globalized world, powerful demonstration effects are at work as everyone can now see how the wealthy lives. The spread of instant communication and the internet have led billions of people in China, India, Latin America, and other parts of the developing world to aspire to lifestyle and patterns of consumption similar to those prevailing in the advanced economies. Yet, between 1988 and 2008, over 60% of the gains in global income were concentrated in the top 5% of the global income distribution. Thus, a fundamental developed questions that people face today is how to reconcile the legitimate aspirations of citizens in the developing world for the high economic growth rates. The only way to make resources available for the half of the world population struggling to make ends meet will be for those in wealthy countries to reduce their own resource consumption and adopt simpler, more sustainable lifestyle supported by a circular economy to eliminate waste. Another challenge is the growing risk of a global financial collapse when the present debt bubble bursts. There is no reliable, depolitized mechanism to deal with financial crisis. There is also no effective international legal framework to ensure that global businesses enterprises are socially, environmentally, and economically responsible. And security challenges, there has been a dramatic increase in recent decades in the price of war and diminishing expectations of victorious benefits. There's a vast military-industrial complex that underpins today's system of sovereign states, and arms races are again accelerating. Therefore, war, in fact, has not become absolute. The calculus of war has shifted, but the risks have not gone away. These risks are aggravated by the poor quality of political leadership in so many countries today, with narcissistic personalities and authoritarian instincts and all the signs of leaders corrupted by power. Disregarding reasoned advice and expert opinion and often isolated from the realities around them. It would be all too easy in such circumstances to stumble unwittingly into a war that could then not be controlled. Alpha Sanoy reporting for the Voice of Truth.
Information on the relationship between the state, UNO, and globalization is to be revealed after the break. Stay tuned for This is the Voice of Truth.
As a day, para tibay everyday. Mag-bear brand a day, para tibay everyday. Lunes hanggang linggo, gatas ininom ko. Iron, zinc at vitamin C, araw-araw matibay po. Masigla akong pumasok, laging handang tumulong. Malakas ang loob, araw-araw matibay po. Mag-gatas a day, para tibay everyday.
And we are back. The state, United Nations Organization, and globalization. Just what exactly is the relationship between them? To find the answer, here is Wilbert Chacwag live in Fundação Tony Vargas, Brazil. Wilbert, how's the weather there?
Yes, thank you, Aza. So, as of now, the temperature today here in Vargas, Brazil is approximately reaching 82 Fahrenheit. And if it's converted, it's 27.8 degrees Celsius. And regarding the relationship between the state, United Nations Organization, and globalization, we have learned from Luis Carlos Reser Pereira, who's an economist and a scientist, that globalization and nation state are not in contradiction. And the nation state organizes space and population, that population in capitalist system. By all means, the globalization is present and it happens anywhere around or inside the globe. However, after interviewing Kevin Blore, he is a principal examiner and a teacher, he said that globalization has made it more difficult for the states to control the movement of goods, services, and state. Despite the crisis may bring for these states, the United Nations will take appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace and to be a center for harmonizing actions of nations in the attainment of these common ends. As might be expected, the United Nations also will do its very best for the people or for the world, so that the people have a better place to live on. We are aware that the United Nations has its potential to unite its member states, various nations, and various cultures, wherein these nations are in charge of ensuring that globalization continues to function so that the world and its people can prosper. I am Wilbert Chacwag, live from Vargas, Brazil. This is the Voice of Truth. Back to you, Aza.
Thank you, Wilbert, and I hope that you will be able to return here in the Philippines safe and sound. And that is all for today. Tune in again to where we bring you the hottest and latest updates on the issues of the world. We strive to bring you nothing but facts, not wax. Once again, I am your anchor, Azalea Nagyapan, and this is The Voice of Truth.